tonight, everyone. I'm Dr. Asatar Bear, my co-teacher here, Leah Schaefer.
Hello and welcome.
And each week we teach introduction to heart rhythm meditation, and we'd like to choose a theme. And this week's theme is the inner dimension of the heart. So we talk about the four dimensions of the heart. And because this is the kind of meditation that we have studied, we practice, we teach. It's called heart rhythm meditation. It comes out of Sufism, the Sufi lineage of Hazrat Inayat Khan. And what Hazrat Inayat Khan talked about the heart having the different dimensions. It has height, and that gives you idealism and inspiration, lifts you up. It has depth, brings you into that which connects us, the universal emotions that connect everyone. That the heart has forward dimension that moves us in the direction of our longing, and it has a back to that too. We get support, and it has width. So all of these wonderful dimensions that we can call upon and give us different qualities. And the inner dimension is, in a lot of ways, the most mysterious of these. The one that where we go to replenish our spirit, where we go to heal, because we get wounded. Our hearts get wounded in these different dimensions. And so we wanted to focus on that tonight, and particularly on this issue of replenishing the spirit, because that one, I'll be honest, that one feels important to me in this moment. So, you always teach the thing that you need, that, and that's the thing I need at this time.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's kind of a funny paradox. Like, how can a spiritual teacher become spiritually depleted or whatever?
Right,
But
right.
it happens to everyone. So it's like it's
It
definitely like, and but what Asatar and I learn is how to tap back into the energies that can restore us, even in the bleak midwinter, as Peaky
happens.
Blinders would say.
I mean, and it happens to
So,
everybody, like, because we're all spiritual beings is the reality, right? So whether we call
mhm,
ourselves a spiritual teacher, we think of ourselves that way or what, we are
mhm.
drawing upon our spirit in whatever we do, right? But especially if
Yeah,
we're in a job or in a capacity, in a role that requires speaking, communicating, connecting, right? These are, I guess, how are you going to do that, right? How do you connect with another person? It's spirit to spirit, and you risk depletion when you do that because you put out a lot of energy, and I think
mhm.
every teacher knows this, not just meditation teachers, right? I think
Yeah.
yoga teachers know this. I think school teachers know
Oh,
this.
yeah.
You,
Mhm.
you Hazrat Inayat Khan says that the spiritual teacher is like a rich person who's also generous. You
Mm.
have a lot and you give a lot, so you can get depleted, and
Mm.
that's just a basic thing that happens. And so we have to have a way of reconnecting and replenishing it. The inner
Yeah,
dimension is really good for
100%. It's a good speech, Asatar.
that.
I like what you're putting down. I'm
I'm
picking up what
speaking
you're putting
directly to
down
myself
tonight.
here. So I'll say what it is for me. I feel, I mean, sometimes I feel it physically. I just feel tired. But what I feel like is more, it's less often it's physical. It's more emotional. It's more like
Oh, yeah.
anything that happens, I go, like, not this again. Not
Yeah.
another thing for me to deal with. Like that's one of my kind of signs.
Yeah.
That I feel like that depletion setting in.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally hear you. I go through a lot, emotionally, psychologically, and then also physically. Like I have autoimmune stuff, and so like there's been many times in my life where I kind of worked myself toward like full depletion, and
Right.
you wouldn't think that working for a meditation school would create that, but it's working for a nonprofit, a small nonprofit, and so you're doing everything and you're carrying a lot. And so,
Yeah.
in any case, I remember I have this like one memory with the inner dimension of the heart where um, I was on. I was on spiritual retreat, so I was on meditation retreat. So it's a 7-day individual retreat where it's just me with my practices for, the full all day, all night, but like, hours and hours of practicing. And you meet with your guide twice a day for an hour. And um, I was working with Susanna at the time, Susanna Bear, one of the co-founders of Heart Rhythm Meditation, and so um, I was so sick, like literally physically sick, and I was also like, I think I was brokenhearted, like I had like just gone through one of my mini breakups, and sorry, and and I was just like my brain couldn't even work. My brain could not work from how depleted I was. And
Mhm.
Susanna did a contemplation of me, which means that you sit across from the person. It's like a darshan. It's like they sit across from you and they read your energy. So I do this now with people. Like I sit across from a person, I can read their energies, right? And so she reads
Right.
my energy and she says, she looks at me and she's like, well, it's a good thing that you're on retreat. And she says, like, every single dimension of your heart is completely depleted. So like the front, the back, the sides, the up, the down, right? Except for the inner dimension. And she
Mm.
said, and that's a good thing because the inner dimension can actually energize your full heart. Um,
Yeah.
and so it was like such a beautiful thing. And it was like this thing of like when all the other parts of our life have failed us, the relationship, the career, the health, we can still tap into spiritual energy. And that spiritual energy can pierce through and permeate through all the other parts of ourselves to bring us back into the energized state that allows us to be our full version of ourselves, that allows us to pursue our life. Um,
Yeah.
and it was true, by the end of the retreat, I was completely restored. I was completely
Nice.
restored by the end of the retreat.
Wow.
But so I have a really special connection with the inner dimension, and it's like when nothing else works, like this can really work for us.
Mhm.
And just to put it in more layman's terms, not layman, but like in more like broad terms is a better way to say it. It's like finding your true self, and it's tapping into that light that's always within, and it's finding your essence and then bringing that essence through almost like the creating an atmosphere of your own essence through and through and through you.
Yeah, but that's a
Mm.
beautiful story. Yeah, and maybe maybe there's a point to us going through these kind of things. Like you got very depleted. Perhaps that's so that you could learn. Like
Mhm.
how I can replenish, and that my spirit has that power, and that my heart holds that light, holds um, that spirit, which needs a vessel to be in this world, right? Our heart is the vessel of our
Mm.
spirit. So, there's something very powerful about that, right? About like learning just like what your heart is and what your heart can do um, in this life. And, I mean, that's, I think, in a nutshell, like, why do we, why do we take the heart as our focus in meditation, instead of focusing on something else, I mean, there's lots of other things we could focus on. Um,
Mm.
it's such a powerful way to energize that vessel, and all of the incredible light of our spirit comes through more and more. So yeah,
Mm.
it's interesting that you got so much replenishment, because sometimes you end a retreat and you feel kind of simultaneously like full of energy and also drained at the same time. Because the retreat is demanding. I mean, like meditating for long periods of time, day after day. That's a discipline.
Mm.
That takes work, and there's a tremendous payoff to it too.
Mm.
So
I'll like take naps and things like that on retreat, but I can honestly say that every retreat I've ever been on, like I come out of there like 8 times bigger than myself before I went in.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I'm just it's just my little niche in this world. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things I'm bad at, but apparently I love those. I love those things. So let's do this little miniature retreat right now, shall we? I love what you said, Asatara, the vessel. The spirit needs the
Let's
vessel.
let's get
Mm,
into it. Okay. Well,
mm,
so you know, I think one of the reasons to really invest in this practice, because it is an investment. We're not teaching you the easiest kind of meditation. We're not. Like, let's be honest, it's difficult to learn this particular method. And the reason that we do it is because it really works. And it especially works quickly. And I know that doesn't sound very spiritual, like hurry up and meditate, damn it. That doesn't sound very spiritual, but we are existing in this world that's very fast paced. And um, if you have only 15 minutes to meditate, it would be good if you could really energize yourself in that time. It would be good if you could do more internally within your energy rather than less. Um, to let more of the unnecessary fall away rather than only a few things. However, it is that you want to express that. So, to begin with, we'll take our good upright meditation posture. And again, your posture that's an investment you're making. That is a thing that you're learning how to do. You're learning how to hold yourself in a particular way, to hold yourself still, to hold yourself upright, to be energized in your body and yet silent and still at the same time. Very unusual because usually when we're energized, we're in movement, we're in motion, and then our energy moves outward. So we are being still so that our energy can move inward to energize our hearts. Now that we're sitting, we're going to work on our breath and really optimizing our breath to make the breath deep to begin with. So allow your belly to expand as you breathe in. Feel your belly just inflating like a big balloon. And then as you exhale, bring your belly button toward your spine so that your belly gets smaller as you exhale. And you can even place your hand on your belly and feel that movement. When we get stressed, our breath gets high in the chest. It gets rapid. We might hold the breath, making it arrhythmic. And so, this is what we really want to undo with this step. We want to bring the breath down into the body, deep breathing. And of course, we want the breath to be smooth and rhythmic. And then we work on making the breath slow. If your breath is deep and slow, you can just feel it. You take a few breaths in this way, And you can just feel the stress just sliding off of you. It's really remarkable. So, if you don't follow anything else that I say, and that's the part that you've gotten that's still going to bring you tremendous benefit. You make the breath slow by extending the inhalation and extending the exhalation, just making it longer, using your abdominal muscles, learning what muscles to relax and what muscles to contract and when that happens. That is the art of breathing. Now we want our breath to be heart centered. Okay, this is what it means to focus on the heart in meditation. Heart centered breathing. And there's a bunch of different elements to this, but one element is physical. It's feeling the physical beating of your heart and bringing that rhythm into rhythm with your breath. Rhythmic breathing. Now, this is difficult. This is difficult because many of us cannot feel our heartbeats. Perhaps half of the people that we've taught have that issue. And it seems that the older one gets, the more likely that is to be present. So listen for your heartbeat, tune into it. Scan your body anywhere that you feel your heartbeat, whether it's in your chest or as the pulse, that's fine. Sometimes it helps to just lightly press your fingertips into your chest, bringing your attention to that area, and also the light pressure on the fingertips may enable you to feel your pulse. So we're seeking to make the breath deep, slow, rhythmic, and heart centered. And we can make the breath rhythmic by counting the beats of the heart and making sure that the number that's on the inhalation is the same as the number that's on the exhalation. If you're thinking this kind of meditation involves a lot more effort, then you're correct. This is not easy. You will have to invest in this practice if you want to learn it. Meditation is not supposed to be easy, even though it is tapping into our inner being and who we truly are, which you would think would be the easiest thing in the world. But we have a lot of self imposed boundaries and barriers and limitations because of our experiences, our psychology, what we have made ourselves to be in this world. Now, you can choose the number of beats that works for you, but if you really choose to invest in this practice, I would like you to get to the point where you can breathe in for 8 beats and breathe out for 8 beats. You may not be able to do this right away, and that's all right. You did not learn how to drive the first time you tried. You didn't fully learn any skill the first time you tried it. And the final step of this practice is to work on making the breath full. And that means to employ the abdominal muscles to a much greater degree than what you've been doing thus far. So that as you exhale, you really squeeze the abdominal muscles, really move that belly button all the way toward that spine. Squeeze out all of the breath. Control the breath in that critical moment where prevent it from just rushing in as you move to the inhalation. Continue to allow the breath to be even and rhythmic. Don't let it be jagged. Don't let it become arrhythmic. We're looking for a smooth flow of breath here. A smooth flow of breath is a smooth, powerful flow of energy. Breathe into your belly on the inhalation and then allow the sides of your body to expand as well. And then bring the breath all the way up into the chest. So we are no longer just doing belly breathing, but we are combining that with chest breathing as well to get a full breath as much as we can using the full capacity of the lungs, but keeping the breath smooth, rhythmic, and slow so that we do not become lightheaded, we do not experience hyperventilation. We retain the proper balance between oxygen and CO2 in the body, in the blood, that allows for the optimal functioning of the brain and the organs. Now, as you breathe into your heart, consider that your heart is like a space. We think of our hearts as being within us. Go into that space and inhabit it as though you're in a room and that room is your heart. The first word that comes to mind for me when I go to this space is safe. That's the word that just popped into my head just now. That I feel safe here. I feel held here. Very interesting and very refreshing. Like there is a place that I can always go within myself, no matter what is happening outwardly. There is this inner dimension of the heart that I can always go to. And there's something very comforting about that. Now, as you continue to do your breathing practice, consider the ways that your spirit might feel deadened in this world. You know, the Sufis teach that the spirit is infinite, the spirit is perfect, the spirit is eternal, the spirit is unlimited. Nothing can harm the spirit, nothing of this world can touch it. And yet the spirit can become can feel the limitation of the world, can become stifled, can feel oppressed because the metaphor that Hazrat Inayat Khan uses. He says there's fish that swim on the surface, and there's fish that swim in the deep waters of the ocean. And those fish cannot live in each other's world, even though that they're both fish. They both live in the ocean, but they have a place that's theirs. So our spirit gets sort of stifled by all the constructs in this world, all of the times that we say, I can't, where we feel we cannot really be who we really are. It's deadening to the spirit. Maybe something comes to mind for you as you sit and breathe. Some limitation, some barrier. Maybe it's the ways that your time is limited. Maybe it is all the responsibilities that you have. This responsibility weighs on the soul. So notice these things and allow your spirit to come alive. Breathe into those places where you feel stifled. There is a particular light that the inner dimension of the heart has, a glowing radiance, not a harsh, powerful one, but a soft, radiant glow. A more subtle light, a healing, revitalizing light. Tune into that radiance. Replenish your spirit from within. And when you're ready, you can end your meditation here.
Wow. Mm.
Excuse me for a moment.
Oh, it's just me. All right. Well, one of the things I like to think about with the inner dimension of the heart is um, the elven people from Lord of the Rings, just because it's something that a lot of people have seen, you know. And so the people that occupy Rivendell, and they carry around like this light with them always, right? And that's really somebody, an example of an archetype or an example of someone. I know it's fictional, but it's like there's always truth to the fiction. Welcome back, Asatar.
Thank you.
I was talking I was talking about that, like an example of an archetype that I feel is exemplified in exemplifying the inner dimension of the heart is the fictional characters of the elven people from Rivendell in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, totally.
I
It's
know
like
it's
it's so
funny to
peaceful.
bring it up. What?
Yeah. No, it has that vibe, right? It's
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
peaceful, things are very orderly, it's quiet, you know? It's a
So
very
good.
interdimension type of place, absolutely, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's
And
interesting, right? Because sometimes fantasy and movies or whatever can give you that feeling, that atmosphere, you know,
I
in a way
know,
that
I know, I know.
uh,
Yeah, exactly. In a way that like nothing else can really do, like in our day-to-day life. But it's like only created out of like some existence or some connection to its existence, you know. And she says, you know, that one like queen, she says to Frodo, she gives him a light and she says, may it be a light for you when all other lights go out.
right, right.
Right. And like that's the inner dimension. That's the light within you. And it's like, and she gives him like a physical thing, right? But it's like it's more about you from somebody that brings that out of you, from somebody that brings it forward for you, you finding that light within yourself. And like it's something that is already there, but it's something that you're finding within yourself. And sometimes it really does take all the other lights to go out before you do find it.
Mm,
um but it is always there. And so it's really that type of energy and that kind of ethereal feeling.
yeah, yeah, and it's interesting the actual, like, necklace thing that he gets given because it's got these sort of things that go around it, right? But then you see that there's, like, an inner
Yeah.
part to it, right? And so,
Yeah, that's so
you know,
true.
it totally has that
Yeah.
vibe, right? Like, it's got some kind of outer protection things that go around it, right? Like, and
Yeah.
so that's what
And it's
makes
like a
something
tor
inner.
it's almost like a toric shape too. What's that?
Yeah. I'm just saying that's what makes something inner is that it has, it's not exposed to
Mm,
to the world, right? It's hidden in
mhm.
some way or it's protected in some way, Yeah,
Yeah, that's so true.
you know. So our inner self is like this too, it's not the side that we show to the world. It's a more subtle side, a side that comes out in stillness that might not be as present um,
Mhm.
when we're in action. And
Yeah. And so I've been to Bretagne, France, so Brittany, France,
mm,
to the Enchanted Forest there. And there's like a lot of claims around all of Europe of where Merlin lived, right? Like,
oh, okay.
there. So this is one of the places where they say this is Merlin's tomb. This is where Merlin was, right? And so we're camping there. Me and one of my ex-boyfriends are camping there, and I was actually really riddled with a lot of sickness again. You know, I go through these experiences. Um, but this one was because I uprooted myself. So like I had uprooted myself so strongly that and I have like a weak root chakra to begin with. So like I had uprooted myself so strongly traveling around with this gentleman that I don't really know, like didn't know how I was going to make money, etc. Right? So um here we are, we're camping in the Enchanted Forest in France. And because I had uprooted myself, I was having lots of deep physical symptoms. Like I would just get sick, 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 and it would be like painful. Like it was not fun for me. And then one night, one night I had this dream that I went like down this like circular corridor, and I just went deep, 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 deep. And I passed all these rooms and stuff, and then I came out the bottom of it, and then suddenly there was this like this mirror, and then I went through and I saw on the other side of the mirror this like woman that was like all made of light, and it was just like how you would imagine like one of these elven beings, right?
Mm,
And I actually went through the mirror, and then she was in front of me. It was extraordinary experience in a dream, right?
mm,
Um, and the next, like pretty much after that, I had no more physical illness. And I found out that she's like a folklore around there. Like they say like she's all dressed in white and she's made of white light. Um, so I just thought that was really fascinating.
yeah. Wow.
And I mean, I'm telling this to, like, the internet, right? But, like, I'm just saying this out loud because I wanna give people hope. Like, we talk a lot about these things that are so ethereal, and, like, the thing is, like, I'm saying these things out loud and being vulnerable because it's there, and sometimes it's going to be a spiritual being, but it's like that spiritual being is wakening up the spirit within us.
Right. Right.
Um, and so like, I just want people to have hope. I want people to like understand that there's much more to our life than what meets the eye or what meets the surface. And it can cure us on so many levels, not just the physical level, but the emotional level and the mental level. And
Yeah.
like, this is why we spend so much time drawing it out. And at the same time, we're not alone in this, like that there's like a lot of this deep spiritual support in this as well.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing that. That's interesting. One of the things I think about Merlin, when I think about Merlin, the lore is that Merlin was born an old man and then aged in with it. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
exactly. And I
Mhm.
think that's interesting because I think that says something about the spirit. Like when
Mhm.
someone is really connected, we say, "Oh, that person's an old soul," right? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because the soul
Mhm.
has this quality of eternity to it. So, you feel old in that sense, right?
Yeah.
Like in touch with eternity, you know?
Yeah.
But the soul is also like endlessly dynamic, endlessly replenishing, endlessly revitalizing, and that feels very young.
Yes.
So,
Yes, that's exactly it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like that's like I think an interesting metaphorical way to describe that, being in
Yeah.
touch with spirit, right? Being both old and young at the same.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, and it's true. It's like that's the thing is like it really is the inner dimension of the heart, I think, is you tapping into your soul. And like that light of your soul. But for me, it's like I almost feel it's like a little bit different, but it's almost like I'm going through spirit to fill my heart versus when I go through my own personal soul, it feels more like a flame or something. Like it's a little nuance, a little different. But
Mm,
in any case, there's this replenishment. In any case, it is you tapping into that part of you that is like very much the soul level. And there's this replenishment. There's no tainting of that part of you. There's no tainting
right,
of it.
right.
And it gives me
Yeah.
so much hope. It gives me so much hope of like what's possible.
Mm,
Um, it makes me emotional actually because it's like this rebirth of the light, the rebirth of connection, and that no matter how many times I'm broken, I can be unbreakable.
mm, mm. Beautiful. Yeah. It feels really good to tap into that source, that soul connection, and
Mhm.
I think because it's us, it's like really us, right? And there's a way that you relax into your being when you're being yourself that you can't when you're trying to be something, Like
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying so hard to be what is expected of me in this world, and or what the people around me, or how they know me, or because it's all limited, right? Like we get limited by those expectations and by the roles that we have, and they give us a place, but they also limit us. So
Oh,
we
yeah. It's like this constant, like, forgetting
right, right.
of who we even are, just again and again.
And this is what the Sufis call it the remembrance, right? The
Mm.
practice of the zikr, the remembrance of who we are and what life is.
Mm. Mm. Let's practice together, yeah?
All right.
Um, yeah, because I mean, I know, like, I know that feel welcome to close your eyes, everyone. I know that it's like I say these things out loud, and I know that I'm even bringing in mythology. I'm even bringing in story and myth, right? But I just wish to convey, like, on such a deep level that I feel these experiences in the deepest parts of me. And I've been graced with these experiences outside of myself, bigger than myself. And I just want to share that hope with everyone. It's like I want to bestow on you that there is this within you too. It's not that I'm different than any other human. It's not that I'm different than any other humble experience of life itself. I'm like here to tell you that it's in you too, that it's your very being, it's your truest being, and it's right there in the very deepest part of your own heart. And it's like if I can just say that out loud, and if somebody can hear it, then that's all I needed to ever do. Because we lose hope, we see so much suffering. Sometimes that feels like all there is like a black hole. But the shadow isn't the source of life. The source of life is like the sun. It's this cool thing I read recently. You can't even look at the sun, right? The sun is the source of so much of the life on Earth. As far as I know, it's the reason that the first cells split, right? Why organisms could form. So deepen your breath. And it's almost like as you deepen your breath, you're going to be awakening the light in every cell of your being. Every cell, if it's true what science has told us that the first cell was forged in light and then it split and then it became a multi complicated organism and then it grew from there, etc. Then every cell is forged in light. All of your cells in your body are forged in light. And as you deepen your breath, let your breath be like this reawakening of every cell of your whole body, all the way deep down, breathing all the way deep. And as you exhale, like Asatar was saying, it's like you're becoming more yourself. You're relaxing into who you really are. My teachers told me that our heart is like a sun, a miniature sun shining. As you deepen your breath, find your heart. And try to feel your heart as this source of light, bigger than any other source of light within you, golden light. The center of your own solar system, the source of life for your whole body, circulating, life giving. And there might be clouds of doubt or fear. There might be pain, but it's nothing compared to the light that is within you. The sun does not stop shining just because there's some clouds about. Find your heartbeat and breathe in rhythm with your own heartbeat. Maybe counting 8 heartbeats in, 8 heartbeats out, or maybe placing a word on your heart that helps you remember who you really are, that helps you remember your interconnection to all of life, both physically within your own body and spiritually within your essence, within your true self. You could even use the words I am to help you with that. I like to use the word Madeleine because it's a version of Magdalene. She was one of the prophets in the feminine line. She was someone that brought light to womanhood and light to humanity through her own heart. So find a name or a word that does that for you personally. Like your heart is saying it to you to help you remember who you really are. And then start to breathe in and out of a slightly opened up mouth, the air breath. And as you inhale, inhale like you're pulling from your inner light, the light that is there always. As you inhale, you're drawing it. You're drawing that light more and more to the surface. Like it's filling up your own heart as you inhale, pulling it from the source within you. And as you exhale, your heart becomes like a star. It shines. You inhale again and you draw from source within, the everlasting light within. Pull it out through the inhale, out from where it's hiding. Filling your own heart, your personal heart. And then just like a star, as you exhale, you let your heart shine. And you let the light of your heart clear all the doubt. You let the light of your heart clear all the darkness. Let it clear parts of you that feel tainted. And let it clear your mind. May the blessings of the one life rest upon you. May the one life's peace abide with you. And may the one life's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. Thank you. You can stay in meditation or go ahead and start to move your body. Thank yourself and open up your eyes.
Mm, lovely meditation. Thank you, Leah.
Mm.
You could, or I could at least really feel that vibration. And it really, like I can see what Susanna was saying. You have a very strong inner dimension. And It's like it doesn't really matter what you say, right? It just is the energy coming through, you know.
Mhm.
It's the you hear it in the tenor of your voice, you know. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, that's a nice connector. You know?
Thank you, Asatar. It's such a gift to meditate with you. So I
Mhm.
really appreciate this.
Yeah, I mean, we know we're helping two people right here, right?
Mhm.
Anyone
Hopefully
else who
more.
benefits, that's good. Yeah,
Hopefully more.
we appreciate you all. But yeah,
Mhm.
you know, we
Mhm.
it's like when you're an artist, right? What is your guide? You know, what is going to make people happy? You don't know what's going
Mhm.
to make people happy. You know what you
Yeah.
think looks beautiful, right? You know,
Yeah, it's true.
that's what
It's so true.
you, right?
It's so
What do
true.
we have, right? We have our issues, you know. We have the things that we're working
Mm.
on. That's the
Mm. Mhm. Every day.
yeah,
Mm.
and that's what makes this work, right? It's like that you make it into a practice. Oh, we have someone here writing in, um, just saying hello. Hello, thank you for
Hi.
being with us. Is this
Hello, Jean. Jean
Jean?
Lamont.
Jean Lamont? Good to see you.
Mm.
Thank you for being with us. And
Mm.
we will be back next week. We're here,
Mhm.
each week at this time. If you'd like to support the show, we have a link to the Patreon below. And if you're in
Mm.
Tucson, of course, you should take a yoga class with Leah, who teaches at Yoga Oasis in
Mhm.
Tucson. And if you have a question for us, get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.